We are back for part 2, continuing for would it be wrong if I skipped my sister's wedding? And as we know, it went very, very wrong. Mom and dad are currently not together, and it's real bad. So let's see what happens. We got update number 3. So it's been about 7 months since my last update, and I thought one was well overdue. A lot has happened, most of it good, some of it not. I'm sure you can guess what or who the reason was for the not good moments. Mom was silent through Lydia's birthday in October, but made a huge song and dance for Aaron's in November. None of us make it a habit to check her social media accounts, and honestly, we'd have her blocked if it wasn't for Lexi, but Leo sent a screenshot in the group chat about a post she made. The post essentially painted Aaron as the perfect child, her precious angel, and said how she'd always be proud of her. She didn't even mention Lydia on her page at all during her birthday, but I can't say that I'm surprised. Thanksgiving was different, but fun. We all drove out to our paternal grandparents' place a few hours away to spend it with them. Technically, it was supposed to be an in-law year since Jade and I tend to switch who we spend it with so that neither one of our families were being left out, but she suggested we switch it up this year so that I could be with my siblings on the first big holiday since the fallout. My in-laws are great people and have been really supportive throughout all of this, and I'm really grateful for them too. Mom didn't reach out to us on the day, but I could tell she was fuming. It didn't help that she was being asked questions after Lydia posted a Thanksgiving Day photo that didn't include her and Aaron. In December, she started a group chat with all of us and Dad and essentially told us it was time to stop this petty drama and focus on family. But none of us are stupid. We all know she wanted to show off her picture-perfect family over Christmas, and how could she do that when all but 2 of her children can't stand to be near her? Aaron was in the group but didn't speak up, which was odd for her, but none of us really thought much of it at the time. Dad said he would swing by to see Lexi, but he had no interest in spending Christmas with her until she was ready to admit to the pain that they caused us. So they're still not back together. A week later, my birthday also went ignored by her, but that was fine. It only proved that she had no intention of admitting that she was the bad guy. She got more desperate as Christmas drew closer. The messages and phone calls started up again, but I could ignore those for the most part. What I couldn't ignore was coming home from work to find her on my doorstep. She told me that she had been waiting for ages, like I was expecting her visit and had done it intentionally, which honestly, I probably would have given the state of our relationship. I'm just grateful my family wasn't home. Jade was on her way back from work herself, and our son was with her parents. I didn't want to invite her inside, but honestly, given how desperate she looked, I also didn't want to deal with her where my neighbors could see. This woman told me that Christmas was all about family and forgiveness. She told me I was taking it too far by keeping her grandson away from her and how confused he must be without her. She said it was like I was using my son to punish her. I told her it was better this way because we all knew what would happen if Aaron had a child someday. My son would be pushed to the side like the rest of us were, and I didn't want that for him. She said I was being ridiculous and once again used that line that I love you all equally. I asked her to leave because nothing was changing my stance and I wasn't going to be spending Christmas with her. She got angry. She started yelling. And while I want to say I kept my composure, I didn't. I started yelling too. The more I yelled, the more worked up I got, to the point that I started shedding tears. Reddit, this was years of hurt rushing to the surface. I don't think I will ever understand how she can claim to love us all equally, but tell her crying son to stop being so dramatic. She left only when Jade came back and saw the state I was in. Jade's little but fierce and would do anything for me and my son, and I swear my mom left terrified of her that day. The social media posts picked up again. She played victim, shared posts about children not respecting the sacrifice mothers make for them and stuff like that. She posted how we didn't appreciate all she'd done for us, but we all ignored it. We did our own Christmas. Jade, our son, and I visited the in-laws on Christmas morning, watched our son and nieces open their presents there, and then went over to Lydia's house. She offered to host us all this year. Dad took his place in the kitchen, joined by his assistant chefs, Josh and Lydia's husband. We didn't see our mom or Aaron until January. Damn. Lexi turned 5, so there was a party, and we weren't about to punish our sister for the actions of the demon that birthed us. Oh boy. It's just getting worse and worse. Like the story, oh my god. So we went. There were some questions, but people didn't push when it was obvious that none of us wanted to get into it. Mom acted like everything was fine, but Aaron stayed away from us. At the end of the party, as we were helping clean up, Mom said it was good that we were finally putting things behind us. Lydia told her the only thing we were putting behind us was her. That started her off again, but she quickly realized she was outnumbered and headed inside. That was when Erin approached us with her husband. Honestly, I was expecting her to tell us to go easy on our mom or something, but instead, she apologized. She said she'd been doing a lot of thinking since all of this started, and she realized that she treated us badly her whole life, and part of that was influenced by the way our parents treated her. She told us she didn't expect us to forgive her, but that she just wanted to tell us that she was sorry. We left a little while later. There was silence at the end of January and in February for Leo and Nadia's birthdays, but we were expecting that. Our days never did matter to her after all. I got married in April without my mom present. Oh my god, so much is happening. So little, but so much at the same time. It was hands down one of the best days of my life, second only to the birth of my son. Jade and I were surrounded by the people we cared about most and who cared about us in return. I had both of my brothers as my best men. Nadia and Lydia were bridesmaids too. It was better than anything I could have imagined. Honestly, I'm still blown away by the fact I now get to call Jade my wife. It's been amazing, but I'm sure you're all wondering how my mom handled this, and I can tell you plainly that she did not handle it well. Well, we already knew that. Truthfully, when we sent out invitations, part of me hoped that the news just wouldn't get back to her. I hoped it'd go smoothly enough that I wouldn't actually have to talk to her about this decision, but of course, that would be too easy. She showed up a few days later, banging on my door, demanding I talk to her. I went out. I didn't let her in despite knowing that the neighbors could see us, and that was solely because I didn't want her inside my home where my son was. I didn't want her scaring him like she was undoubtedly doing. She demanded to know what I was playing at, how I could be so cruel, how I could exclude her from such a special day. I told her plainly that my wedding was a day for me to celebrate with my close loved ones, and she wasn't someone I considered close or a loved one anymore. She made her bed and she had to lie in it. Some of you guys might agree with how these siblings handled everything from like the beginning of the story. I'm very curious to see all of our thoughts in the comments. Part of me worried that she would turn up at my wedding. She came by the house a few more times, but stopped when I threatened to call the cops. I didn't do it sooner because I guess I'm soft at heart and didn't want to see my mom in any trouble, but every time she showed up to spew some BS about me being a terrible son for doing this to her, it drained me. There were social media posts, of course. I had relatives reaching out to tell me that I should invite her, what kind of son I am, etc. But they stopped when I told them that I would take back their invites too. No one mentioned her at the wedding, and she didn't try showing up. She did, however, try to prevent Lexi from being a flower girl, like I promised, but Dad quickly nipped that in the bud. Which takes me to my next point. My parents are officially over. I don't know why I'm surprised by that, but I really am. I thought there could be some kind of reconciliation, but the story's not over. We do have more updates. Dad sent her divorce papers sometime in February, and I don't think he's looking back at all. This is something that also shocks me because this time last year, he was much the same as she was. He was someone who cared more about Erin than any of us, someone who brushed off our achievements as if somehow they interfered with hers, and now he was an advocate for us. Every time Mom posted something on social media belittling us, he responded with a post uplifting us. I never imagined having such a good relationship with my dad, but here we are. We helped him move into his own place back in March. He's a new man, honestly. He's worked out a 50-50 custody agreement for Lexi because as much as he'd be happy to have full custody, he wants to believe that she can change like he did. He has said, however, that if he catches even the slightest hint of Lexi being mistreated like we were, that he would be filing for it. Erin is another story. Okay, is this good? We are no longer no contact with her, but we are low contact. After her apology at Lexi's party, Leo reached out to see if it was genuine. All of us were pretty stuck on what to do, to be honest. Erin was never someone to bow her head and apologize, but how could we know if it was genuine and not a ploy for us to forgive our mom or something? Erin asked to speak with us in person when Leo reached out to her, and we agreed because we were curious to see how it would go. We also agreed that if she tried anything, we would be leaving immediately and would block her again. We met at her place. Erin looked like a nervous wreck, like she hadn't slept all night. And honestly, it was really weird because she's normally so put together. Like even when she was throwing tantrums, she looked better than this. We sat down and she started going off by apologizing to us again. She said that she was needlessly cruel and unfair to us, especially Nadia, and even apologized for trying to ruin her graduation. She said when we all backed out of her wedding, she was confused and hurt because none of us had said no to her before. She thought that we were closer than that, but realized now that it was one-sided. She thought that we were close and we just wanted to be as far away from her as possible. It was normal for her to be the center of attention. Everything was always about her and she was trying to unlearn that. Why now? It came down to her husband. He had tried talking to her a few times about her treatment of us, but she never saw an issue with it since, well, we never made it an issue before. He didn't like that response, but he loved her and she was also a lot kinder outside of our family unit. So he hoped that if he kept talking to her about it, she might eventually stop. They fought when she announced their engagement on Lydia's anniversary, and they fought again when she booked their party on Nadia's birthday. He couldn't understand how she could be so cruel to her family, and she told him that he didn't understand our family dynamic and that we were just cool with it. The stuff with Nadia's graduation damn near ruined their relationship, and I don't know how she convinced him to stay with her because George admitted he was very close to walking out the door. She said she was on our mom's side for a while because she really did think that we were just acting out. She said that she knew she was a brat but didn't realize how bad she was until George and our dad laid it all out for her. Sometimes you just need a little bit of perspective, you know? And it turns out Dad wasn't the only one bearing the brunt of Mom's anger. She was constantly blasting Erin's phone, turning up at her place, dragging our names through the mud. It got worse when Dad moved out, and suddenly Erin was all she had in the world. Oh my God, of course Mom is going to cling to Erin like frickin' glue. She got no one else. Her husband damn left her. We parted ways, conflicted. On one hand, Erin has always been selfish. She's been manipulative and downright mean. She's always found a way to overshadow us at every turn, at every achievement. Nadia's graduation was proof of that. On the other hand, she looked tired, she looked worn, and she looked guilty, and I didn't want to believe that that was an act put on for the sake of us to forgive her and then our mother. None of us were sure how to proceed, but then Jade suggested that we invite her to the wedding. Or rather, we invite her to the reception after everyone has eaten. We had a few friends coming at that time too, who couldn't attend the wedding itself due to inescapable arrangements. That way, if Erin did try to bring our mom, security would catch it and we would know for certain whether or not Erin had turned a new leaf. Erin attended the reception. She didn't bring our mom. Didn't even mention her. She and George arrived and Erin cried as she congratulated me. Oh, I believe that Erin's very sorry and just wants a relationship with her siblings again. At some point, she took Nadia aside, and when they came back, they were both a little teary-eyed. Nadia later told me that Erin wanted to apologize to her properly, one-on-one, and didn't know if she would get another opportunity to do so. George thanked me for giving Erin a chance. He told me that she really could be a warm, kind-hearted person. I told him I hope to meet that version of her someday, and I mean it. If Erin is truly as warm and kind and wonderful as George believes her to be, then I want nothing more than to meet that version of my sister. Now you may be wondering, OP, you forgot to mention Lydia when talking about your siblings. That was on purpose. You see, it's a good thing Dad moved out of her spare room. She's going to need that space in a few months, and she's not the only one. I knew Lydia was pregnant because she sat both me and Jay down to tell us she was pregnant and worried about her bridesmaid's dress. Even offered to step down if it was a problem. We, of course, told her to not be ridiculous and that we'd cover the cost of any alterations needed. In the lead up to the wedding, Jade told me that she planned on having Lydia make an announcement during the speeches. I foolishly assumed that Lydia was going to announce her pregnancy to our extended family, and while I was a little hesitant, I agreed since Jade wanted this, and well, at least she'd gotten permission, unlike someone would have. Lydia made a speech about her pregnancy and how she couldn't wait to be a mom and how she was grateful to be sharing at least part of her pregnancy journey with Jade. This is how I found out my wife was expecting our second child. Oh my God. Guys, why do I feel like this is part of my family? This story is so detailed that I genuinely feel like I know these people. Again, I wish I could say I maintained my composure, but I didn't. I cried. I was so overwhelmed with happiness that I couldn't help myself, and I'm sure my friends will forever make fun of me for it. I'm in therapy now, and I'm not the only one, and I'm healing. Right now, I'm happy. I'm so unfathomably happy that I can barely understand it. I'm happier than I've ever been, and I know my siblings will say the same. I'm not sure if our mom knows yet about Lydia and Jade's pregnancies, but the announcement is out there. Okay, she knows. Oh, we do have her blocked on social media though, so maybe no one's told her the good news. Erin hasn't, at least, so if anything happens on that front, I'll let you know. But for now, I'm happy with where my life is. Well, we do have another update, so I have a feeling Mom found out. I'm gonna take a sip of water though before that, so let's hydrate everybody. Let me know what's in your cup. It's obviously vodka in mine. Kidding! Cheers. So, it's been nearly a year, and as expected, a lot has happened. Mom found out about Lydia and Jade's pregnancy shortly after my last update, which went about as well as you could expect. Lydia and I became the targets of her rage, as well as our partners. We were the worst people in existence. She turned up on my doorstep and screamed through our Ring camera that she is ashamed of how I turned out. I'm waiting for the day her words don't hurt me so much, but she is my mom. And I think there will always be a part of me and my siblings that will want her to love us. Honestly, I think she made 17 Facebook posts a minute, each one painting us as villains for denying her her rights as a grandmother. She had our aunt call us and tell us that we were being ungrateful. One of them managed to catch Jade as she was coming home from work one day and didn't like it when Jade told her where to stick it. I have never cut contact with someone so fast. Mom had to be escorted off Lydia's property by police at one point too. We wanted to ride it out, but we spoke about it as a group. Lydia and I decided it was for the best that we pursued restraining orders against her. Thankfully, they were granted, and she has thankfully stuck by it. The four of us haven't seen or heard from her since, and the others weren't so lucky. In July, Erin actually cut Mom off. She blamed everyone but Erin for it. It was Lydia's fault, and then it was mine, and then it was Nadia's. It was Dad's and Leo's and Josh's. Every one of us was an enemy. Every one of us but Aaron. I hate that I wasn't surprised. Dad applied for full custody of Lexi too. I think we've all realized that Mom isn't going to change, and the best thing to do for Lexi is to prevent her from turning out like the rest of us. Currently, the fight is still ongoing. Mom doesn't want to give up Lexi, but because of her very public issues with the rest of us and the restraining orders, Mom only gets to have her on the weekends. Dad still isn't satisfied. Lexi started coming back home from her weekends with Mom, saying she doesn't want to go back, so Dad's pushing harder to cut Mom from the occasion completely. Aaron has integrated further into our circle. This Aaron is a lot nicer than the one I grew up with. I tell her a story and she doesn't roll her eyes at me, doesn't tell me that nobody cares what I have to say. She isn't perfect by a long shot, but she's trying. She is in therapy. We're also on the list for family therapy with the 6 of us and Dad. Aaron arranged for the 2 of them and Lydia to have a girls' day to celebrate Nadia's successful first year of college. This is the sister we deserved, and we are the siblings Aaron deserved in return. Aaron is also flourishing in her new role as an aunt to all 3 members of the next generation. That's right, my son is officially no longer the only grandchild. Lydia gave birth to her daughter in September. She's got lungs like no one else and the strength of an elephant, but she is cute as hell. Jade gave birth to our 2nd son in November. Right now, I am happy and I am content, and my mom can't touch this. This isn't for her to corrupt. She will never know these beautiful, wonderful children, and she will never know the versions of us that follow. I did not expect that title to lead to 2 years of a very chaotic story. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this one. I'll see you in the comment section. Stay classy out there and stay sassy.